Hello, Homestead. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence.
From Homestead Media, this is HHS In Depth.
Welcome to HHS In Depth. On today's show, you'll learn about how Homestead teachers were able to transition from other professions into teaching, the SACS charity event named Read Under the Lights taking place next week, the all-new We the People Club being started this year, and a recap of last Friday's Red for Riley fundraiser at the football game. You'll be getting all this and much more, so stay tuned on this week's edition of HHS In Depth.
Today is Friday, September 13th, and thanks for joining us on HHS In Depth. I'm Elena Baker.
And I'm Owen Kruger. And Elena, with the weather being all over the place lately, I'm not sure what to wear to school most days.
I can agree with you. It's always cold in the mornings and then warmer in the afternoons.
Especially with the football game later tonight, I'm not sure how much I should be dressing up. Luckily for us, weather reporter Matthias Arizmendi joins us in the studio.
Well, Owen, it's going to be a little warmer than when it was last week, with kickoff temps being around 76 degrees. It's going to feel great with a little breeze and clear skies all night long, but I would suggest bringing a hoodie or a jacket to stay warm during the game, as temps will drop into the high 60s by the end of the night. Don't forget, tonight's game is on the road at Northrop. Kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. Be sure to show up and support our Spartans by wearing anything Hawaiian. Looking ahead to the weekend, things stay pretty consistent, with both days having a high of 85 under mostly cloudy skies for both Saturday and Sunday. Be sure to get out this weekend and enjoy the nice weather. Matthias Arizmendi, HHS In Depth.
And now we go beyond Homestead.
Going beyond Homestead, a debate between the two presidential candidates, current Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, occurred this past Tuesday night in Philadelphia. The debate was moderated by ABC News personnel, and some topics covered included women's rights, the economy, and the wars in Ukraine with Russia, as well as Israel and Palestine. The presidential election will take place on Tuesday, November 5th, and to register for voting, 18-year-old students can visit indiana.gov and follow the steps as listed on the website. In local news, City Barbecue has finally come to Fort Wayne, with a location being close to Homestead in Jefferson Point. The restaurant opened Monday and is open 7 days a week. The barbecue joint has over 70 locations and is known for its famous brisket and other smoked meats. Bring your friends, because on September 25th, the first 100 people in line will receive a scratch-off card for the chance to win anything from a free drink to a $100 gift certificate.
Thank you, Elena, for some news outside the walls of Homestead. We'll be right back on HHS In Depth.
September is Suicide Prevention Month, a time to raise awareness about mental health challenges. Nearly 800,000 people die by suicide each year, with it being the second leading cause of death among those aged 10 to 34. To reduce the risk, seek support through therapy or loved ones, and know the warning signs, such as withdrawal, extreme mood swings, or talking about death. If you or someone you know is struggling, call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988 for confidential help 24/7.
Welcome back to HHS In Depth.
The Transition to Teaching program allows teachers to earn their certification for teaching without a traditional education degree. Here in Indiana, lawmakers have worked to increase the number of teachers by participating in this program that has been utilized by plenty of Spartan teachers.
Started out at Cintas. That was my first job out of college, and then my general manager hired me at a flooring company called Jack Ory, and I ran the maintenance division there.
I got a degree in telecommunications, and then I worked in the field of radio for about 10 years. I worked at Federated Media and here at Homestead, running the WCOT 91.1 FM, The Point.
Transition to Teaching has multiple different ways to start the program. Mr. Rogers started through what is called an emergency permit.
An emergency permit basically means you have a teaching license, but you're going to school to become a teacher. And that's what the transition program was. For me, it was neat because I was learning what's called pedagogy and like classroom management while I was actually a teacher. So I could learn while I was, and put stuff into practice while I was actually doing it.
Transition to Teaching is a way to bring in professionals into education where they might not have focused on education while they were in school.
This program is a great way to facilitate efficient career changes. It offers valuable support for people who seek this transition later in life.
Thanks for the story, Elena. Be sure to get the early bird pricing and order your 2025 yearbook at yearbookforever.com or scan the QR code in the graphic before the price increases in December.
Juniors and seniors are the only students who are allowed to park on Homestead's campus or at Summit Middle School and must display a 2024-2025 Homestead parking permit. To obtain a permit, you need to pay $40 in cash or check to the treasurer's office and then take your receipt to the discipline office. Students are not allowed to park in any visitor, staff, clinic, or bus lot along the bus road behind the stadium. Violators of any of these rules will be subject to disciplinary action.
The HHS Speech and Debate team will hold its first call-out meeting of the season on Monday, September 16th, immediately following the school day in room B2032, Mr. Trice's room. If you're interested in competing in speech and debate this year or are interested in learning more about the team, please plan on attending the meeting.
Students going to the football game tonight at Northrop, please note that all Spartans will need to have their student IDs with them in order to purchase a ticket to get into the away game tonight.
The Homestead academic teams will have a call-out meeting on Wednesday, September 18th, right after school in Mr. Cole Glazer's room, C1007. The academic teams have 3 separate contests throughout the year: Spell Bowl in the fall, Quiz Bowl in the winter, and the Super Bowl in the spring. You can join all 3 or even just one. Stop by and learn more or send Mr. Cole Glazer an email at the email address shown here.
Homestead student government surprised the Saks bus drivers with Whip and Chill ice cream last Tuesday after their final routes transporting Saks students home after the school day. With the driver shortage canceling many routes recently, student government wanted to thank the drivers that are working hard each and every day to bring kids to and from school. Look for a story over the topic of the bus driver shortage on a future episode of HHS In Depth.
Walking around the hallways, I'm sure you've come across a poster promoting an event called Read Under the Lights that takes place next week.
I have, Owen, and to be completely honest, I'm not quite sure what the event entails.
Me neither. Fortunately for us, reporter Braden Graff is here to fill us in on this community-wide event.
On September 19th, 2024, Saks is holding an event that combines the joy of reading with the unique ambiance of our own football stadium. This event invites students of all ages to gather under the bright stadium lights and immerse themselves in captivating books, fostering a sense of community and a love for literature.
HHS Education Foundation, we really wanted an opportunity to bring the entire community together across all age groups and all the schools in our district, just for something fun for the community that's family friendly, that will also raise money for the Saks Education Foundation.
All proceeds will go to the Saks Education Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that gives money back to students for scholarship opportunities and summer enrichment opportunities, and to give resources back to our dearest teachers. There will also be bounce houses, food trucks, face painting, and much more. If you will be attending, park off Aboit Center Road by the old 9th grade academy, or at Summit Middle School by the tennis courts.
I would just encourage everybody, whether they're a high schooler or a volunteer or even an elementary student, just to come enjoy this event. I've seen a lot of other districts do something like this where they take a sense of pride in their school district and they're all coming together as one, and it's going to be neat for everyone to be a part of that for our community.
We encourage you to bring your family and friends to this incredible event. If you'd like to volunteer by helping or setting up for the event, please email Mrs. Brayman with the email below. Braden Graff, HHS In Depth.
This weekend looks pretty good with it continuing in the next week. Monday and Tuesday are going to be partly cloudy with a high of 87. Following that, the sun comes out on Wednesday, getting to a high of 85. We see the most sun in the highest temps on Thursday, getting to a high of 88. To be honest, I don't even know what to expect at this point, but personally, I am not complaining about all of this good weather.
Welcome back to HHS In Depth.
If you went to Woodside, you may remember or have participated in the We the People competition. If you missed it, you're in luck because the We the People Club is starting up here at Homestead. Reporter Mara Nicholson is in now to tell us more.
That's right. We the People is back here at Homestead. It is all about learning more about your civil liberties, the Constitution, and government.
We the People is a national competition for both high schoolers and middle schoolers. We take parts of the Constitution and divide them into units, where we then argue a prompt in front of judges, and that leads us to regionals, state, and national competitions.
Beyond the engaging discussions, joining the club is also a great addition to college applications, highlighting skills like community building, strong communication, and a deeper understanding of our government.
You need to more come with just an expectation that you're going to learn about government, that you want to talk about government, that you want to really dig into this is why the law is and this is how the law works, and be able to articulate that through a speech, through a competition format.
Although it might seem unexciting at first, the club is anything but boring. It offers lively debates and interactive discussions, making learning about government both engaging and enjoyable.
I really enjoyed the competitive aspect of it. I liked the writing process. I really liked developing my argument and then really practicing my speech and then getting it down and then getting to perform it at the regional competition.
The first club meeting is today after school in Mr. James's room. Mara Nicholson, HHS In Depth.
Next week, reporter Justin Estrada brings us a story on Homestead's new guidance counselor, Mrs. Colross. Be sure to catch that story and more next week right here on HHS In Depth.
Tonight, your Homestead Spartans travel to Spoiler Stadium to take on the Northrop Bruins in SAC play. Listen live on the Point 91 FM.
Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm Josh Bobe. We are in the midst of fall athletics and things are getting exciting, with some teams going on hot streaks and winning big events. Starting with our football team, last Friday they played yet another game and won at home versus Wayne 22-8. This brings their record to 1-2. The Spartans put up some good numbers while also picking up their first win on the season. The Spartans are back in action tonight versus Northrop at Spieler Stadium. Be sure to show out wearing Hawaiian to match the student section theme. On the topic of football, last week's home game against Wayne was our Red for Riley night. Reporter Bella Cook brings us a recap of the event, along with how the Red for Riley Club here at Homestead made it happen.
Last Friday night was the annual Red for Riley football game. Although everyone is aware that this event occurs each year, not everyone knows the planning and organization that goes into it.
We are in charge of planning all of the events, getting everything ready and organized so then the club can run smoothly. We have meetings about every week, and for that we are just going over what our next events are going to be and different ways that we're able to fundraise. I joined was because I wanted people to know that this club is more than just for kids that had cancer and that Riley helps out with more than kids with just cancer. But the significance for me is just to be able to make an impact on other people's lives.
We have been really organized this year, which I'm super happy with. As for fundraising money, we haven't really gotten that far. We did just raise about $5,200 for our Red for Riley game, which is great, a lot more than we were expecting. Yeah, I'm just super proud with how much we've raised already.
Despite the football game being over, the Red for Riley Club's efforts to raise money is not over. This Saturday, they will hold a Riley Fun color run, and in the spring, they will hold a powder puff game. Bella Cook, HHS In Depth.
Thank you, Bella. Moving to our girls volleyball team, on Tuesday, the Spartans went away to face Belmont and had a tough game, losing 3-1. This game was an all-around team effort versus the Belmont team, who are trying to defend their state title from last year. This game brings their record to 10-3. The girls get back in action next Tuesday versus Huntington North. Last Saturday, the girls' cross-country team won the Marion Invitational Elite Race on Saturday at Indiana Wesleyan University. The girls had a great day, posting 19 personal bests and 3 season best performances on the day. 11 of the 12 girls finished in the top 35. The girls get back in action tomorrow morning at 9:30 for the Northrop Bruin Invitational. Boys tennis made short work of the Warsaw Tigers this past Wednesday, beating them 5-0. The varsity team is off to a hot 7-2 start to the season, destroying nearly every team inside of Indiana. The boys are back in action tomorrow morning at 8:15 for the Homestead Reserve Invitational. Good luck to them. And finally, it's time to reveal this week's male and female Spartan Athletes of the Week. Nearly every week we have a show, we will select 2 winners from a current sport. The winners can pick up their prize from the athletics office. Congratulations to this week's winners. From boys tennis, Eric G., and from girls cross country, Kat Perego. That'll wrap up this week's edition of Down to the Wire. Make sure to follow Homestead Athletics on both Instagram and Twitter for updates on Homestead-related sports news. Josh Bobe, HHS In Depth. Back to you, Owen and Elena.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you to everyone watching the show today.
That'll do it for today's episode of HHS In Depth.
Make sure to follow our socials to keep up with the latest news from Homestead Media.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here again next week.